Hi Neha.
Hi Mansee, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So this was normal intro, but let me give the true introduction of our wonderful guest today, the true introduction that she deserves. Since childhood, I know her, and my school time best friend Ravina and me, we used to just sit in school and think about life at a very young age, and we used to just think कि हम कितने useless हैं, and we used to think about all the achievements of her brother Rinit भैया, and we used to think कि यार life में क्या करना है, how to become like him. And then after few years, he married to this amazing woman who doesn't cease to astonish us and all the people around her. And that's what is the guest for today, Neha. She's a superwoman, a talent development professional, a mother of a pretty beautiful daughter, Asmira, of 9 years old, and now she is an author of an amazing book, Back on Your Feet, which is all about helping people who want to get back in their careers after the break they take due to any reason. And yes, she has lived in 8 countries and speaks 8 different languages. Yeah, just a normal thing. Hi Neha, or rather I should say Pranam.
Oh, Pranam, and oh God, thank you for that super flattering introduction. I have no words, thank you.
So Neha, in this series, I call it as the Women Lead series on my YouTube channel, and I always invite some inspiring, amazing women on my channel, and thank you for accepting this offer. I'm so happy that you came here in this interview today, and I'll get to ask some interesting questions to you.
Sure, and I think the pleasure is all mine to meet you, to be able to chat with you and share my story with your viewers.
Okay, so shall we begin with the first question?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, तो नेहा आजकल के ज़माने में I think it's the age of micro content, you know, because attention span of people is like decreasing like anything. When people are making TikTok videos, reels and stories, ठीक है, उसमें you chose to write a book which takes so much of effort, time, and I think you give a part of your soul to it. So why did you choose to write a book in this age of micro content?
Thank you, Mansee. I think that's a very relevant question and a brilliant one. And you're right, we don't have any patience these days. And I'm not judging anybody else. I think I'm equally guilty of that. I want quick answers on Google. I want quick micro modules of learnings. But then there are some things which are always better than slowly, right? When you make your morning chai and then boil it with ginger, it has to take that long. You let your filter coffee drip in the morning for it to have the full flavor. You need to give it time, right? Things like long walks, long talks, long baths, even a nice Long Island iced tea. It's never going to get outdated. It'll always be styled. It'll always be appreciated by people. So I'm not worried about my book being a book and not micro content, because I think I've written it in a style that the reader will feel as if they're chatting with a best friend or their elder sister for that matter. Wow. And somebody who really truly cares about them, but also isn't afraid to give them a kick in the butt if they are not moving in the right direction, or if they're not sure what to do. So, and these kind of conversations with your best friends are best done at ease. These can't be 30-second reel or an audio message that your friend sends you. It has to be a nice long coffee conversation or over drinks or whatever you prefer. So I'm okay with it being a long book. In fact, the very first section of my book helps women. It guides women on how they can reclaim time so that they can have time for themselves, start working on their priorities. So, yeah. Wow. And your interviews are kind of long too, right? 30 minutes. I think we're on good track.
People are so interesting. Yeah. Again, like I told you before we started shooting this, I always aim for some particular time span. कि इतना ही रखेंगे अपन. But then conversations go on to be so interesting, and you find so many things. It really is not justified if it's small.
Right.
So, yeah. Thank you so much. बहुत ही मस्त आंसर था. And you described your book in the most beautiful way possible. I think it's just like a conversation you're having with your best friend, your elder sister. Yeah, it was very nice. Okay, now my second question is that you have lived in so many different countries and different cultures, जहाँ पे एकदम different languages बोली जाती हैं. So what is the biggest takeaway, or let's say learning from this experience?
Wow. So I thought about it very often, and I think that my answer has always changed depending on what life stage I am in. But I think right now, when I look back at those 8 countries and all those moves, I think the biggest thing that it taught me was patience. Since I was moving around from country to country, most of my friends were the expatriate communities there, who were also in the same boat, who were facing similar challenges. And then I saw that people were very often complaining about the weather, about the food, the people, the everything, the policies, the government, whatnot. And it's understandable. You're out of your comfort zone. You're homesick. You completely feel clueless. You don't know, because there's no support system in a new place, right? All your friends, family are back home. So it's understandable that people are a little frustrated, a little stressful. But it's never the fault of that place or that people or the people there. It's you who is a foreigner there. It's you who is responsible for taking that first step to start integrating in the new environment, new people. And even simple things, like you say, I speak 8 languages. I can't have discussions in 8 languages, but I can get by in those 8 languages. So if you put me in any of those 8 language speaking countries, I'll be able to get a cab, find my way, go to a supermarket, buy basic stuff. And even and that always starts with simple things like learning to say thank you, hello, please in the local language. And when you even make that like minimum effort, it takes 2 minutes to learn a new word like that. But doors start opening for you. The locals are more warm. And after that, if you have to play dumb charades to explain to them what you need, they are patient after that. So this patience that, listen, I'm the one who's an outsider and it's my job to take that first step, is something that I learned after moving to so many countries.
And just for the viewers, ये 8 countries कौन सी हैं? Can you list them?
Sure. So India, of course, that's where I grew up in. That's my home and will always be. Then we had to live in Mexico for a little while, for a few months. Then Brazil, Thailand, Russia, China, United States, and now we are in Netherlands. Did I count all 8? I think yes. I did.
So you are kind of, मतलब मैं बोल सकती हूँ, you are a world citizen. And and to all the viewers, like, she has lived in so many varied geographies and different places. With all that experience, I think she's a very, very reliable source of learning and information. So I find myself so lucky to be having this conversation with you. क्योंकि like for me it's just the first country मैं जहाँ रह रही हूँ, and all the sets of challenges that come with it, learnings, I can only imagine when you have lived to so many places. You are like a treasure of knowledge and experience for us. Okay. So third question is, Neha, what are the common challenges? अब different country है, different मतलब language है, लेकिन challenges कुछ common होंगे जो सभी जगह face करते थे when you move to a different country.
Oh God, yes. I think there was one common theme in all the countries I went in, and it was food. Okay. Well, I grew up in India. I'm a vegetarian, but being a vegetarian in India is a piece of cake. I mean, quite literally. Because and I used to think I'm not a picky eater. I would eat almost everything everywhere, and I had a whole lot of options. And the moment I stepped out of India, I was the most picky eater in the group. There would be a menu, and there would be only 1 or 2 items that Neha would possibly eat. I was like, what's happening? So food was always a challenge. Being able to say hello, please, thank you is an easy learn, but being able to say, oh, I'm a vegetarian, which means no fish, no eggs, no chicken, no beef, no pork, and a whole shebang is a lot of vocabulary. So that always took time for me to learn, and because food is so important for your existence, right? So it was like an existential problem everywhere that I went, and I think that was the biggest challenge. But yeah, we survived. I was always able to make friends in new places, go out, eat with them, whatever little I had for options. I was actually pregnant in Brazil, and in pregnancy, people have cravings, right? I did too.
Oh.
But then Brazil is a primarily meat-eating country, so I had to rely on salads and boiled beans in most places. And they don't eat very spicy food. They like to enjoy the real flavor of foods. So their seasonings are usually limited to salt, sugar, and if you're very lucky, they'll probably have some black pepper somewhere in the restaurant. But it's okay. We survived. I ate really healthy, and I have no qualms about it now.
Maybe that's the, apart from the wonderful genes Asmira has, maybe that diet is the secret.
I don't know. I'm a big. I have a huge sweet tooth. I can't stop myself if there's sweet in front of me. I just. So when I say salad and beans, after that I used to eat a lot of desserts too. Brazilians make amazing desserts.
Wow. Okay. तो नेहा यहाँ पे मेरा fourth question आ जाता है. After becoming a mother, how your life changed personally and professionally as well? On these lenses, if we put कैसे life change हुई?
So I think at that point when you become a parent, professional and personal don't remain two separate things. So whatever I answer is going to be a mix of those. But if I have to say personally, the biggest change that comes is you have this little person in your life now who thinks you are a star, who thinks you can do no wrong, you are the best person in the world. And although this phase only lasts for a few years, till then figure out, oh no, mom makes mistake all the time, she's wrong sometimes. But while this phase lasts, you're like their hero. And this little tiny fan in your life who needs you, who loves you in the most basic, primal way possible is like, it really fills your heart like nothing else can. This could easily be a song, or maybe I'm copying from a song. But that's how strong the feeling is. And if I have to talk about professional, I think when I became a parent, I had just finished my MBA. I had been on a couple of years work break. But when I did my MBA, I was an outstanding student in my MBA class. It was an international MBA with the students all over the world. So I was doing really well at my course, and I was getting really good job offers while I was there, and I was turning them down because you know how you have this self-righteous feeling, no, I can't cheat anybody by not telling them I'm pregnant, and I can't take up a job because what if I have to take a leave of absence in 6 months? So all these garbled ideas that I had back then. And I was doing that. So imagine somebody who's at the top of their game, doing really well professionally, is a star at what they are, an outstanding performer or whatever. And going from that to a place where you're absolutely incompetent, okay? Nobody prepares you for parenthood. You become a parent overnight, you are expected to keep a little being alive that has no volition of its own, that has no decision-making powers, depends on you on every single little thing. And as a new parent, you need to learn everything overnight almost, like feeding, burping, changing, putting them to sleep, keeping them clean, and figuring out why they're crying half the time. And imagine this transition overnight. You're a competent, smart, amazing star performer to a completely clueless, useless parent who doesn't know what to do, is in a big jungle and is completely muddled. So all that, plus of course all the hormonal changes, physical, mental changes happening. So that's something that is enough to put anybody off their rocker at that point. So I think that was the biggest transition that happened, and I would call it both professional and personal.
Indeed, and it's huge, like life-changing moment. Let's not talk about good or bad. It cannot be put under that lens. At any day it's good, but इसके जो side effects होते हैं, I think not you only experienced. I think जितनी भी mothers होंगी, they would have gone through the same things in their life. And I think here your book will be like a boon for them. कि how to get back on your feet, coming straight away from you, who has first-hand experience in this and has done so well on this journey.
Well, and I wouldn't say so well. I've had my lows, it's just not publicly known.
And this is what I really appreciate about you. Thank you for sharing, the version of your book to me. But as I said, I didn't read it completely. I don't want to because I really want to go to the stores and buy it. But मैंने introduction में पढ़ा. Unlike many other people, you are someone like you're owning your mistakes and blunders. Your book starts with a list of those things. With time you have made mistakes, and I think I found it so brave and outrageously raw and real. So
Thank you.
I really like that, Neha.
Thank you so much, Mansee. I'm getting mixed feedback on that, but I also like talking about mistakes or the things that have gone wrong in your life upfront, instead of acting like this superhuman or super person who has it all under control, who's a star. We've all made mistakes. We've all fallen down, but the fact is, if you still keep getting up, you get there.
Yeah. And okay. Fifth question for you is when I spoke to you, when I learned about your journey, जब मैंने देखा, I could point out on your trajectory one common thing, that was कि you never stopped learning. ठीक है, irrespective कहाँ हो, what situation, you're like always learning and learning new things, making yourself better. So tell us about your attitude. What do you think? What is your mindset which keeps the ball rolling for you?
Wow. So, you remember your first question about some things are short and some things are take longer. I think we all have gotten used to quick answers also. So if I want to do something, I'll even if I want to change a tire for that matter, I'll quickly Google it, find a YouTube video, do it then, and forget about it.
Right.
I, of course, do that when I'm in a hurry or I'm stressed about an upcoming deadline. But I also have this tendency to, so when I get curious, I just start learning. And my brain doesn't let me stop till I figure it out. Just a couple of months ago, there was this workplace. I'm not a technologist, by the way, but there was a workplace project that needed me to collaborate with lots of teams, and there was a lot of monotonous work which was a part of it. Now, I found out about Power Automate from somewhere, Microsoft Power Automate, and I just spent the next few weeks learning Power Automate from scratch, and was able to automate quite a few things. That was not needed from my job. I just did it because I was like, this is this amazing thing. Why isn't anybody using it? Then again, if we talk about the book, that was something when I started writing it, I didn't know it was going to be a book. And it took me a few days of writing to figure out, oh my god, this is going to be bigger than an article or just a blog post or something like that. Then I started researching, writing more, and I threw myself into it. And then of course, it was my first time doing that. So I learned a lot about different writing styles, creating mind maps to keep the focus in the chapters. And of course, talking to other people to make sure that I'm covering all the aspects of career restart, not just my story or what I think should be a career restart journey. And the whole world of Kindle publishing, Amazon print on demand, editing, a million types of editing, right? Line editing, content editing, copy editing, developmental editing, structural editing. It was completely new.
Don't even know.
Now I claim to know at least the basic definitions. I don't know how to do all these things. I had to get a lot of external help for all that. But there's this whole world out there, even in terms of writing. Writing is not just writing it down. A lot goes into it before it actually becomes a paper book or a Kindle book. So I think I just get curious and I just can't stop till I figure it out and do it.
Curiosity.
So curiosity.
Wow.
Has kept this cat alive.
Like that. Okay. So because I'm sure not many people answer this like honestly, but I know you are someone like you're fearless to tell about your mistakes and learnings. My next question is, if you look back on your life and you would want to change something, what would be that one decision that you took you would change given a chance?
So I don't know how honest you'll find it, but I would say none. Looking back, at that point in my life, of course, you think you are the biggest idiot in the world. You've made a huge mistake, things haven't worked out. And many times, of course, at that point you feel like there's no hope in hell. You're so devastated. And And then eventually, when you look back, you realize that it wasn't such a bad thing. It was a good thing, in fact. When I was after my 12th standard, I appeared for the medical entrance exams, and I failed in all of them. There was one exam I made through dentistry, but I didn't take that up. Back then, I didn't even have a plan B. Okay, I failed to think of a second plan of action if this did not work out. And that seemed like the end of the road to me back then. I was like, there's nothing left. My dad's a doctor. That's what I had hoped my life would be. And now there's nothing left for me to do. But then I remember 6 years after that point, I met a few of my peers who were preparing for the medical entrance with me, and I realized they were still preparing for their super specializations and specializations. And that's another round of competitive exams and more hard work, and you continue learning, and hats off to them. People do that, and we owe our lives to many of them. But I realized that it was not for me. I was in those 6 years, I had studied some other things. I was on my feet. I was doing really well at my career, and I was fulfilled with what I was doing. So I realized whatever happened for the best. And this is just one example. There are lots of other examples I have, where at that point of time you think you're the biggest failure, but then later on you realize this was for good. And it might sound like Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, no?
I see a halo behind you, right? I see it.
Let me go karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadach. But it is what it is, and this is something you can only realize looking back. You can't realize this in the point of distress where you're shattered. You can't tell yourself, no, this is for good, I'm going to be happy. That can't happen. It's always looking back that you'll realize this. But I'm glad I realized this. I hope other people do too.
But here I also think it's your capability to look at the brighter side of life. Okay? Whatever, you have two options, right? Anyone has two options. Either to look back and be always crying about it, ki bura hua, I'm like, that happened. Or taking one step forward and then thinking, yeah, it happened, but it happened for good because I choose to see the positive things that came out of it. And that's your quality, just like you're curious.
That's very sweet of you.
You are nice, okay? So it's not, I'm sweet, I'm just telling the truth about you. And I'm just sharing it with the viewers because you never know. There's so many people out there fighting back, looking at that one ray of hope to just motivate them to take the next step. And I have a very strong feeling that your book and you are that one ray of hope that they might just need.
I hope so.
So on talking about your book only, here's my 7th question, because I found so many interesting things that I want to read about it and share it with people. Tell us, for whom is this book intended? Who is the target audience? And why should they read this book? And finally, if they want to read the book, where to get the copy of it?
Sure. So, I told you what the book is like, right? Your best friend giving you a nice long talking to you. Yeah. So that's what the book is. It's primarily, it's for all people who have taken a career break, because that can be a very challenging time that not just affects your financial independence, but also your self-esteem and confidence. So this book is primarily for people who've taken a break, mostly Indian women, because that's more common. And this book takes you through your own life situation, helps you understand what your own priorities are, your own talents, your own needs in your life, and then create your own unique plan of action. So this book is not at all prescriptive. I'm not saying do this, do that, and then you'll be through. So it makes you think about your own values, your own reasoning for why you want to do something, how you can do it, and then create your own POA, plan of action for yourself. And this is like a playbook part of the book. And this whole book is also sprinkled with career stories from other women. There are 13 stories from other women who have also taken career breaks. And they have been kind enough to open up their heart, and they've shared their courage, their struggles, their pains, and their successes at the end with me. And those stories are sprinkled throughout the book. So those stories will act as a proof that yes, it can be done. And no two stories are alike. everybody is in a unique situation. You're not the only one. There's so many different ways people have been able to make it work. So can you. So if people who are reading this book are feeling hopeless that this cannot be done, that my break was too long, or my field is just not ready, this book will give them that ray of hope that you were talking about. That yes, this person was able to do it. I see some similarity. I have hope too. I can do it. Let me try.
Wow. Or I can see the book. Yeah, the book, the little yellow cover peeking behind you. You can see, guys, that's the book back on your feet. And how to get it, Neha?
So the book will be available globally on all Amazon stores. We are testing this week. It's available already on Amazon India, UK, US, Japan, Australia, Netherlands. These are the only few bookstores that I've been able to check, but they're available in Amazon stores everywhere, both in Kindle and paperback format. So if you're a paper person, you can use that. It's also available on other platforms like Kobo, Google Books, Apple Books. It'll be available everywhere. Bookstores is something that's in phase 2. We haven't figured that one out, but if you want, you can get both digital and paper copy now.
Wow. So I'll put the links to purchase this book in the description of this video. और जो लोग भी चाहते हैं, right, कि we want that book now, we cannot delay, तो an Amazon guy will be there, guy or girl will be coming up there with the book, and people can enjoy reading it. So Neha, now good things come to an end, just like this interview, but with the nice best question. Best question is still written.
Bring it on.
Last. It's common, which I ask to all my guests, but this is like the juice of the interview. So, what is your final message for the viewers, for the person watching this video? What is your message?
If I had to, bring the juice of my yellow, lemony yellow book to you, I think that would be the one rule that I put in front of my readers in the book as well, and that is don't self-reject. And there are enough people in the world. There will be companies, your neighbors, your friends, even your family that might say, listen, you can't do this. Let them do that. That's not your job. Your job is to believe in yourself 100%. Just be true to yourself. Be your own biggest supporter. And treat yourself like you treat your best friend at the end of the day. If he or she, whoever your best friend is, if they're not feeling completely confident, you don't sit there and say, yeah, you're not that good, you shouldn't even try. No, you give them that confidence. Be that person for yourself. And the unconditional love we talk about giving your kids and your parents, give that to yourself first. You have to have your cup full before you can pour from it, right? So be that person for yourself. Be your own fan, cheerleader, and don't self-reject. You'll get rejections, trust me, a million of them. You are not the person to reject yourself.
Wow, so beautiful, so beautifully put, Neha. I mean, thanks for adding another gem in my series of Women Lead series on my channel. I'm just super grateful and glad that you shared these amazing things with us. And
thank you, Mansee, for having me.
I hope you also enjoyed this interview.
Oh, I loved it. Thank you, Mansee. And there were such thought-provoking questions. None of them were tell me about yourself or what are you doing these days kind of questions. So I love it. Thank you. You do put a lot of efforts thinking of these questions, I'm sure, and preparing for these discussions.
It's just because of all these guests like you that keep the ball rolling for me. And to all the viewers, thank you for watching, spending some time with us today. Neha joined with us all the way from Amsterdam, Netherlands, to share all this wisdom. And if you like this video, give the video a thumbs up, drop some comments. Why did you like this video? And share this video to some amazing women or men who might find this helpful and who might just find it so apt in their life. And stay tuned to this channel. There's more such amazing content coming up ahead. Here's me and Neha saying bye-bye to you and thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Mansee.